This is the Final Lap Weekly, a show where a couple of guys talk about all things NASCAR. My name's Kerry Murphy. I'm a longtime host of All Things The Final Lap. Our co-host for the show is Toby Christie, founder and editor-in-chief at TobyChristie.com and Racing America. So anything going on this... Wait, what was that last part I just said?
Man, that was weird. What just happened?
I just read what's in front of me, so what?
Yeah.
Racing America.
So, yeah, a little bit of big news this week, I guess, right?
I guess, a little bit. It snuck into my intro here.
Yeah. So editor-in-chief of TobyChristie.com and now RacingAmerica.com as well. Really, really cool. I'm excited about this partnership, by the way. That's really
crazy.
Cool. Yeah. So the team over there at RacingAmerica.com, obviously, if you've been there, you know, dedicated to short track coverage all across America. They're one of the big video providers that stream a lot of these local races. They had the Slinger Nationals this past this week on Tuesday. So really cool event. Ty Majeski pulled that off in a late race restart there. Really cool to see, and it's just awesome. They're going to bring us in, and we're going to help them with their NASCAR coverage. They're going to help us get some short track content on our side, and it's going to be a really fun deal for everybody.
This is huge news. I mean, I think back to the Words Bank where you know, you were kind of nervous to meet me. You walk up to me, and now look at you.
Yeah, things have changed a little bit. It's so yeah, that first time, man, because I'd listened to your show before, and so I knew who you were, and I felt like you were a big deal. I still think you're a big. I still think you're a big deal. So it was just cool. We were seated next to each other and kind of struck up conversation, exchanged business cards and stuff, and the rest was history. Whenever you needed a fellow podcasting co-host, so it all worked out well, and I'm still thankful to this day that you decided to take me up on that. So I couldn't believe it, and I don't know how you've put up with me for what has it been, 13? It's been 13 years?
Wow, I think it was 2010, if I recall.
Yeah, I think 13 years. So, man, that's holy crap.
But make no mistake, it's all your hard work. It's all your passion for this sport, and it's all your you love this so much that you wanted to make it work, and now it's working, and to a great level of success. Congratulations.
I appreciate you, and again, it's my hard work, but a lot of people have helped along the way, you included, and it's been cool, and it's awesome for the entire team. That's the thing I'm really pumped about too, is our entire team now elevates as well. So it's really cool to see everybody kind of getting their footprint elevated a little bit. I even got you mentioned in the press release. Did you see that?
I saw that.
Yeah, look at wow. That. I don't forget Kerry Murphy.
Choked in my breakfast there.
Which is funny. We didn't know the impact of the press release thing. We didn't really quite get the gravity of who all was going to be getting it and how far the reach would be, at least on our end. I'm sure Racing America knew who they were sending it out to. And so I started seeing people, hey, man, I got a press release about you today. I was like, that's kind of weird.
Right, yeah.
So it's a little interesting, but really, really cool and really thankful, really excited to get this thing going. It's been a lot of months in the making. We've actually been helping over there. If you've been over their website, you've probably seen that we've been doing some content for them up to this point. And now we're kind of going full bore with it.
Yeah. Let's give your team some credit. Who are they?
Man, we've got Joseph Strigley over there, my right-hand man, the managing editor of TobyChristie.com. The guy has been literally, he came in at the worst possible time you could be starting as a NASCAR journalist, 2020. He had the Ryan Newman crazy crash at Daytona, his very first race to cover with me. And he was like, is this how it always is? And I was like, oh, no, man, don't worry. It's not like this all the time. COVID happens. Then we had when we came back from COVID, we had all the 3 or 4 races a week thing, and it was just chaos. But he stuck with me throughout all that.
The virtual races, remember that?
The virtual races. There was just so much stuff for a kid that I think he was 19 or 20 at the time. I want to say he was 19. And he believed in the what we had building. Yeah, he believed in the mission and stuck with me through all this stuff. It's just been crazy. We've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of all-arounds, and it's cool to see that pay off for him. We've got Taylor Kitchen over there helping us, build the YouTube presence and video presence up. She does some awesome weekly videos. She does live streams, stuff like that. She'll be building NASCAR Legos all sorts of stuff. So check her out.
I saw she was at Mid-Ohio this past week. That's awesome.
She was really, really cool to see her get out to the racetrack. We're going to start getting her out to a few more. She did a great job, as did Ben Branscombe, our ARCA guy. He's been kind of holding down the fort for us on the ARCA coverage this year. Because, I mean, we've just been too busy between Joseph and I, and then, working on these deals and stuff in the background. There's just been too much going on to get all that stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
So he's really stepped in and helped us out, too. He was at Mid-Ohio with Taylor as well, covering ARCA and some Truck Series stuff. So thank you to those guys, and seriously, thank you to everybody on the team. We've got Dewey Schramm, who works on the paint scheme pages. We've got Dale Petrie, who helps us with some graphic stuff. If you ever see our post-race playoff grids and stuff like that, that's Dale. So he's a cool dude also. I mean, we've got just so many people. Artez Kelly was there at Atlanta with me this week. He was kind of running out and getting a bunch of quotes and videos and stuff like that for me. So with all the stuff going on with Mid-Ohio kind of getting pushed back a little bit, a lot of overlap was happening in Atlanta. So
right.
Joseph was kind of committed to helping the Truck Series and ARCA folks get all their stuff finished up. While I was kind of by myself on an island, but thanks to Artez, he helped out and got all that stuff for me too. So it really worked out. It's a huge total team effort. We don't have a huge team, but the team we have are all extremely passionate people.
You're scrappy.
We're scrappy, man. We've got heart. That's for sure. So really, really excited for this. Really, really cool. You even brought it up in the show. So thank you for that. And sweet, man. Good stuff.
And to a certain extent, these three people are Patreon members that sponsor the show as well.
Well, you say three. We've got four.
What?
Yes, we have four sponsors of the show.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so breaking news on top of the breaking news.
Wow.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Let's start with our longest tenured sponsor of the show, Joe Bike, the man, the myth, the legend. He's been here. He's the man. We appreciate you, Joe. How about David Letchworth, longtime listener to the show? He's been a patron before. He is back in a big way now, our newest sponsor of the show. Thank you, David. We appreciate you, buddy. We knew you'd be back. We've got Louisville Max, the guy that's on the Ultimate Final Lappers tier all by himself, sitting there. We appreciate you, Louisville Max, Mr. Max Burt. And, of course, Devin at the Only Mattress Giant level tier as well. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, everyone. Seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you guys who sponsor the show and everybody who is on tiers below that on the Patreon page, and anybody who listens to the show and just goes, you know what, I'm going to download this thing every week and hear what these two idiots have to say.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, because, yeah, that's a big ask of us when you put it that way. All right. Because of our, longer intro, we're going to do an abbreviated version of a race recap from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Luckily, they had an abbreviated version of the race, so it works out.
Yeah. So it all works out. So it is what it is.
We had rain come, race was red flag, then they called it early, big storm coming, no more NASCAR for you. Let's run things down 10-1. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Justin Haley, JJ Yaley, Brad Keselowski. That is your bottom six. Any news standing out from those guys?
I mean, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just continues with a season that has been incredible. I mean, seriously, when they won Daytona, it was like, well, cool, they're locked in, but they're going to be an afterthought. This team is not going to contend, right? Wrong. I mean, they've been in the top 10 a lot, and on a bad day, they're like 15th. So I feel like that team is a possible dark horse once we get to the playoffs, as long as they've been kind of working and tooling their way to get there. So, I mean, I wouldn't sleep on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just yet. We know when he's got a good car under him. He's got really good car control when he's got a good car. Then we've also got, you mentioned JJ Yaley there in 7th. What in the world? JJ Yaley in the Rick Ware Racing Machine. That is his first top 10, Kerry, since 2013.
That's been a while then.
10 years. The man has gone through it all. He's bounced around from team to team, opportunity to opportunity, trying to help all these teams on the lower end of the NASCAR Cup Series make it into the top 10. And guess what? He pulls it off in a rain-shortened race at Atlanta. But, I mean, he was there on merit. He was running really, really well and got it done. Solid finish.
Can I just say, I still haven't wrapped my head around the fact that Atlanta looks and feels like the racing at Talladega and Daytona. It's so bizarre.
It does, but I will say this week it kind of took on a little bit of its own character. The surface is definitely wearing out. No, it does, yeah. And it almost kind of feels like old Daytona, old Talladega, where you kind of get that single file slingshot kind of moves and stuff like that. There was definitely some 2 and 3 wide once the chips were on the table for sure.
Well, and the weather coming just ratcheted up the intensity.
Yeah, you could feel it. Once that second stage was over, you knew at any point this race is over. And
they were out there with their radars. They're like, it's coming, it's coming.
It's on its way, guys. So, and you could feel it. I mean, the intensity was crazy. Being there was wild. I kept walking out of the...
Guys, radar here. I'm really green. I'm coming for you.
There's a little bit of really green.
Oh.
Oh, good to see the radar stop by, so that's good. But no, just, I mean, being there too, it was just an electric field. There were a lot of people there too. Electric, you like that? So, I mean, it was good, and you kind of sensed it. You knew it was coming. You saw the blob on the radar. You knew once it got there, it wasn't going away. So it was just one of those things. Could it possibly skirt past without getting? And it looked like maybe it was going to happen. And then it started raining in turn one in the backstretch while they were already under caution. And so they were going to try to keep the heat in the track, run a few more caution laps. Hopefully it would just drive out and no issues. The rain would just go away. But then a lightning strike hit, and that ended things. They had to red flag it. And then once that happened, the skies let loose, and it was all.
Lightning strike is an automatic 30, right?
Yeah, 30 minutes automatically for lightning strike. And within that 30 minutes, the skies opened up, and it was all done.
Yeah, toast. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Kyle Busch at number 5.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a pretty good run. I know, at these kind of races, there's so much unpredictability. He was really good in the Daytona 500. Didn't win, obviously, got caught up in a late crash. But I think this continues the really good first season for him at RCR.
And Michael McDowell, I mean, if you're talking Talladega, Daytona, he's up there.
Yeah, and he overcame some adversity in this thing because he got in that pit road scuffle there with Martin Truex Jr., suffered a lot of right front fender damage. And they had to play some strategy. They went ahead and pitted at like lap 94 and didn't pit the rest of the way. So they kept kind of, jumping over people and getting track position that way. And in the closing laps, he's there with a shot at the win. Had this thing gone in green a little longer, he would have probably had to pit. But it was pretty much perfect for Michael McDowell, and he ends up 4th. A solid run, his best finish of the season. And now he's inside the playoff cut line too, Kerry. What the heck?
Wow.
That's crazy. Year.
Totally. Now these next 2.
By the way, he's got 4 top 10s in the last 5 races.
That's solid. I do recall saying his name a few times.
Definitely.
These next 2 didn't get the memo. It's not a road course. AJ Allmendinger 3 and Daniel Suarez 2.
Yeah, and Michael McDowell, you can say that 4 too. He's also a good road racer. So
and Kyle Busch and William Byron.
Yeah, so I mean it's very interesting, but yeah, no, I mean, AJ Allmendinger is a guy who has shown in the Xfinity Series the last few years that he's pretty good at these plate-style races as well. He hates them, but he's decent at them, and he always finds his way in the mix towards the end. So a solid run for him, and it was good to see Colleague Racing getting both their cars in the top 10 here, because I know it's been a little bit of a trying season for them. They kind of had a lot of big hopes with how well Allmendinger performed part-time last year, that maybe they'd be able to get 1 or 2 cars in the playoffs. It doesn't look likely right now, but you never know. A win changes everything. But a really good run for AJ Allmendinger.
It's a tough sport. I mean,
it is
really tough.
It really is. Yes.
Let's head to Victory Lane now, where the rains came and William Byron ends up wearing the big hat again. Grabs his 4th win of the season, 2nd Atlanta win, 8th career. Let that sink in. 8th career, 4th of the season, after leading 19 laps on the day. Right. This is the season.
Goodness gracious. It's wild.
I would call this a career year, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you double your career win total in the year, I would definitely say it's a career year.
That's pretty awesome. So good to see that happen. Unfortunately for that was a rain shortened situation, but I think every driver at some point in their career has a rain win.
Well, and people always talk about these rain shortened wins. They need to put an asterisk next to it. You can say that all you want. Did you see how bad they were battling for this lead? I mean, that's about as fierce as it gets. They knew any minute now this could be a checkered flag lap. So it wasn't like William Byron got this handed to him. He didn't stay out and everybody else pitted and he somehow inherited the lead and that was it. No, this was battled for. He overcame a spin, by the way, went a lap down early in this thing.
Right, I remember that.
And, they got the free pass. They made some stuff happen. He gets up there and boom, he's leading at the right time. Holds off the furious pack of people, including Daniel Suarez, which we mentioned a minute ago. Doesn't have a win this season. Has been running kind of abysmally lately. And that Trackhouse team had 2 straight wins going into this race. So he wanted to make it 3 straight with 3 different drivers, 3 different cars. So just came up barely short on that for Suarez, but to say William Byron did not earn this one, I'm calling BS on that. The guy battled his guts out there for it.
For sure, and everybody's playing under the same rules. So
no, for sure, yeah, definitely. And they, like I said, they all knew what the deal was, and they were all racing aggressively because of it. So it was one of those things where it was not easy.
That Byron spin, by the way, happened around lap 80. Kyle Larson, by the way, tore up the right front of his car, ends up in the garage for the day. Lucky he has a couple of wins.
Yeah, so he got spun. I think it was Eric Jones got in him, spun him around, and then after that spin, he got back out there, and boom, the right front blew up on it and just shattered the whole front end, and that was about it.
Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin got tangled up in a spin on the front stretch. I'm sure it was all Alex Bowman's fault. They were running top 10.
Well, I actually think it was Alex Bowman's fault this time.
Well, it would have been neither way. So,
which is funny because these two got tangled up the week before in the Chicago Street Course race. So kind of weird that they got together again.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan Preece, Bubba Wallace spun 82 laps to go. Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs got caught up in a Corey LaJoie spin about halfway, jumping back in the race a little bit, but lots of action. Yeah,
that was the mini big one. I think like 7 or 10 cars were involved in that one. Yeah, and that was kind of the one where we're like, okay, is this the big one? We're kind of coming down to the end here, but you kind of expected something else to erupt with how crazy they were running. Fortunately, we kind of got through it without anything huge. Real bummer for Ryan Preece and Bubba Wallace, by the way, towards the end of this thing, because they were running really well. They both had really good runs going. And of course, that was the caution that kind of led to this rain, which then led to the lightning and ended the race.
We've had a lot. This has been a packed show already here at the top end of the show. Let's take a little break. Let's hand things off to our fantasy NASCAR expert, Rowdy Dragon. He is ready. His music is cued, and he wants to get going. So here's Rowdy Dragon, fantasy NASCAR, right here. All right, there you go. Rowdy Dragon getting you all set up for New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend. I think it's the first time we've even mentioned that that's what the race is coming up this weekend. So there you go.
That's when you know we have a lot to talk about, when we haven't gotten into that.
Totally.
I'm excited now. I know weather's in the area this weekend. Hopefully we can dodge all that and just get a race in all the way. You know what I mean? Because it's been like weather's just been impacting things so much. I know it's summer.
Yeah.
Man, let's get a race in, but the forecast for Sunday doesn't look super favorable. We'll see what happens.
It is the Magic Mile though, so maybe they'll sprinkle some magic on there.
That is true. Unfortunately for us, this is one of the shorter mileage races of the season. I think the shortest of the Cup Series, right? Aside from like Bristol and Martinsville and stuff.
What about Phoenix too? Because they do kilometers and stuff.
That's true. Those are 300 miles, I think, right?
Well, this one's 301. So New Hampshire's like, ha ha, suck it.
Incredible.
Yes, racetracks talk.
Let's
do some news of the week from TobyChristie.com and, dare I say, Racing America.
There you go. Yeah. Get your news from both. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
This is big right here. The very first one, the first bullet point here is massive, Kerry. I know it's kind of a just in case situation, but I think this is kind of telling. Why don't you go ahead and
But at face value, you're like, oh, a tire test.
Yeah, which we've always joked about for years is just kind of a joke, but go through this. Let us hear what's going on here. I think this might mean something.
Well, Goodyear has announced that they're holding a tire test later this year at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Really not big news, like I said normally, but it's for the oval.
Wow. So could this be signaling a return for the Brickyard 400?
It's been swirling for a while. Even the owner of the track has, kind of laid it out there, Roger Penske. And so clearly Goodyear thinks it might be a good idea, to test this out just in case, because they have had issues in the past at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that being Goodyear. Of course, NASCAR hasn't raced at the oval since 2020 because, that's when everybody deemed it boring. So
yeah. So I would love to see it with the next gen car, because the next gen car has proven to be very difficult to handle, to snap around and stuff like that. Just kind of uncontrollable. These drivers are on the ragged edge. I know the horsepower is down, but as far as how difficult it is for these cars to handle, I think that would be an interesting play. And I think it might lend itself to a lot of possible passing, because a driver means so much with this current car right now. So I'm interested to see if this ends up being the case, which we've all heard rumors that it has. And I think if Goodyear's running a tire test just in case, you kind of have to feel that maybe that just in case is a little more than just in case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend just to see what happens.
Well, especially when I think the only other place that would even be comparable to would be maybe Pocono. Like
yeah, well, there's one turn there at least.
Yeah, but so like that's the thing. Like you're putting a lot of resources here for a tire test that might only be something you can look at for Pocono, and even the surface isn't even close. Just the layout's kind of close, but the surface itself is not close. So
here, just run one turn at Pocono.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like there's got to be something to this if they're going to run an entire tire test for it, or they could just be wanting to see how it works and whatnot. But they might get a feel for how the next gen car does race in this tire test. So we'll see. This might be a determining factor.
Now that's for next year, not this year. They're still running the road course this year. That'd be too soon.
Which I'll be there, by the way. It'll be fun.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, Mr. Big Wig from Racing America.
Mr. Big.
By the way, I have a problem with the NASCAR schedule. I have a serious problem.
Like Sirius XM?
NASCAR. Just a big, huge, massive problem that I can't deal with. Some sort of animal has gotten into my
world.
Yeah, it's hard to see here, but yeah, it's the whole bottom of the season. In fact, after Bristol, I don't know what's after that.
Okay.
Some sort of animal got to my. So what do I do? I guess
I got nothing for you on that. I don't know. I don't know what
just print another one out. Yeah. I know we've been told that we shouldn't print out the internet, but I like having a hard copy for that.
You know, Kerry, the store does sell snacks. You don't have to eat your schedule.
That's right. There were bits and pieces everywhere. And now, this is Slater the cat I'm talking about. Now he's gotten into my soundproofing, and now I'm really unhappy.
Oh, no.
Just likes tearing it apart. He doesn't eat it. He just rips it and spits it out.
I can see that, doing the whole, bacon bread kind of thing, sitting there patting at it.
Right. Now, and keep in mind, my desk is 4 feet off the ground. It's a stand-up desk. So he gets up here.
Yeah,
somehow.
Those cats, man, they defy gravity, that's for sure.
It's amazing. All right, Hendrick Motor. Speaking of Pocono, we've got more Pocono news in Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, we do. Hendrick has added Pocono Raceway to their Xfinity Series schedule coming up, and they're going to put Chase Elliott behind the wheel of the number 17 machine, and that'll be July 22nd, and that's NASCAR's second-tier series, obviously, and they'll be competing around that 2.5-mile triangular oval that's got Nimitz-class aircraft carrier length straightaways.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Alex Bowman will drive the car at Watkins Glen, and Kyle Larson will round out the schedule at Darlington Raceway in the fall. Elliott, of course, has 5 wins in Xfinity Series competition and is the defending race winner in the Cup Series at Pocono. So I think he's a pretty qualified guy. They're really trying to get a win in that 17 car, by the way. They have tried, and they've been very close. I think they finished second probably 4 or 5 times already in the last year. They really want to win, and I think by adding this race with Chase Elliott shows how much they want to win.
The nominees for the 2024, pretend there's echo over my voice, the 2024 NASCAR Hall of Fame are 83-time winner and 7-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson.
Wow.
Think he has enough cred to win?
I would hope so. If he
know.
doesn't get in, I think we got problems.
Who knows? Anything could happen. Can you imagine? He doesn't.
That would be a really hard sell because, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got in the first ballot. I'm not trying to say Dale Jr. doesn't deserve to be there, but he doesn't have 7 Cup Series championships. So
not many do.
I would say if he doesn't make it in, we've had an epic failure in the voting process, and the people voting probably shouldn't be voting anymore.
Yeah, they're a little angry or something. His crew chief for 82 of those wins, because he was suspended for one for having remote control things going on in the car. But he does have all 7 titles.
3 of those?
What's that?
Wasn't he suspended for 2 or 3 of those?
I don't know. I thought it said 82 of his wins.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought
Leave it to NASCAR for, screwing up the stats. 7 titles, though.
So don't forget, I think it was 2 wins. The reason that Chad Knaus is at 82 is he won one with William Byron as well.
Brings it back up again.
That's right.
All right. Chad Knaus is who we're talking about.
Yeah.
And also on the modern ballot are Jeff Burton, Carl Edwards, Ricky Rudd, Harry Gant, Harry Hyde, and Larry Phillips. Fan vote at NASCAR.com closes not too long from now, later this month, July 30th. And then the 61 panel of voting members, including the reigning Cup Series champion, is going to do their deal on August 2nd.
Yeah. Now, of course, when the Hall of Fame first started, we'd have 5 people go in per year. We're down to 3 now, 2 modern and one of the previous eras of NASCAR. So this is, I mean, it's a tough ticket at this point, and that's kind of the way Hall of Fame should be. So I kind of like that. I think kind of understand who the modern era guys are. I mean, I think if it's not those 2, it would be very shocking. But now the question is who the legendary person is, like the further back, the
for sure
Martinsville clock era.
Ugh.
Who goes in?
Okay.
The cringe from Kerry. I just saw it. So it's a question, man, and it's interesting. So we'll have to see how it all goes. But I'm excited to see who ultimately the panel picks. Unfortunately, we don't have votes, but it'll be cool to see how things go.
You should now.
No
time editor
kidding.
in chief.
How do I go down there and talk to them about this?
Do you get limoed to work now?
Do I get limoed to work? Well, so like my work is literally like 5 minutes from my house. If I get limoed for 5 minutes, we got problems. I don't think that. And I'm not really that fancy pants of a guy. You know me. I mean, I'm kind of chill.
I forgot to mention that at the top of the show. There are so many people in this industry that are the opposite of you. You are just all around a good guy.
Well,
and that's rare. That's rare.
I appreciate that. So
I'm not even that.
Well, I would actually argue that. I think you are. I've spent considerable time with you on the Strip in Vegas and stuff like that with family, and you're like one of us. The kids get to grinding your gears, and you still keep it together and keep it sane. And,
wait till you get a teenager.
Oh man, I've got a 5-year-old going on teenage years at this point. This kid is insane. He's building his own apps. He's doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Like, he comes in, he's speaking Dutch. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what in the world? Like, I don't even know Dutch.
Jerry!
It sounds.
He's coming in, walking in Dutch.
Well, it sounds so aggressive when he comes in. It's like, what did you just call me?
That's awesome.
And it's always just like he's the king of the muffins or something. It's like, okay.
This is huge news and is probably going to get his fan base all riled up, or his non-fan base. Trackhouse Racing announced that driver Ross Chastain, does he not have enough problems? Has a multi-year deal with Anheuser-Busch for his number 1 Chevrolet. The sponsor will, of course, leave Stewarthouse Racing and Kevin Harvick, who's retiring at season's end, and move over to this new team. Now, we've kind of known about this for months. You've known about it for months. You even had everything ready to go and posted, and then they said, nope, stop.
Yeah, full disclosure. So at this point, the embargo's been lifted, so we can talk about that.
After months.
So they've been working on this for a while. It was no secret. And obviously, there was no secret in the industry. Everybody had been talking about it for months. It is good to see it finally come out and be announced, and now we kind of have an idea. And I will say we kind of had one of the exclusive pieces of it is that this will be an 18-race primary sponsorship next season. So half the schedule will be sponsored by
That's
Busch
big
Light.
these days. That's big.
It is.
Because usually sponsorships these days are just kind of pieced together and you hope for a season.
Yeah, so now the question is, do the current sponsors that are there at Trackhouse that are filling those 18 races want to continue? And if they do, does that mean the 91 car shows up to more races next year? So there's a lot of questions at play still, even with this piece of the puzzle being kind of revealed. So we'll see how that all goes as the silly season drags on. But with the 91 team winning a race at Chicago, I think that really kind of opens up things.
Yeah, Trackhouse is definitely ones to watch. That's very cool.
And they don't have a problem shaking things up or making something happen. So
that's pretty awesome. They'll put Magic Johnson in the car or something.
That would be kidding. No kidding. Could you imagine
his head sticking out the top?
Shaq's right next to him in the other one.
No, he's in the passenger seat.
Right.
First time ever. On tap this weekend, we've got New Hampshire Motor Speedway. They call it the paperclip or the magic mile. We always make fun of that. It's magical.
It is magical because it is over a mile. So it's like 1.028 or something like that. So it is just slightly over a mile, which is what makes it magical. And that's why it was so hard to plan fuel mileage-wise back in the day, because it would start stacking up extra little mileage on there when you're thinking it's only a mile. It's a little over a mile.
Oh, so it's a crew chief nightmare.
It is. It's one of those things now, obviously, with stages and stuff like that, it's kind of changed things. And It's not nearly as much of a nightmare because you kind of know when the brakes are happening, kind of have an idea what to do. But back in the day when it was a long green flag run and you didn't know when that last caution was coming, and if it went all the way green, there were some questions as to when that fuel tank would run dry.
Let's take a look at some of the stats here. We've got, like you mentioned, 1.058 of a mile or over a mile. Banking up to 7 degrees, not very much. The front and back stretches, could it be? Yes, it be. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Both 1,500 feet in length. You see how I lift?
I'm excited how excited you get.
I love when things are equidistant.
We haven't got an equidistant alert in a while, so that's good.
No, exactly. 301 laps or 318.46 miles. Stage 1 is 70 laps. Stage 2 is 115 laps. And the final stage, 116 laps.
To get that extra one. I think they should have put that extra one on that first stage. Make it 71 laps.
Right. Just mess them up.
Yeah. Give them a little something different there.
Mess them up.
Last year's pole sitter for this race, Martin Truex Jr., who's been doing pretty good this season. And, of course, last year's race winner, Christopher Bell, who is pretty darn good at this racetrack. So we'll see how that goes.
We've got Xfinity Series going down Saturday, 3 p.m. on USA, and Cup Series Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on USA. And you've already looked at the weather. There's problems?
It looks bad, but we'll see. Things can also change.
Wasn't Vermont flooded this week? And that's like right next door?
Yeah, it was. The Thunder Bowl down there, which is hosting SRX next week, doesn't know how things are looking. So it's underwater. We'll see how it goes. This summer has been kind of rough weather-wise for everyone, so we'll see how things go. But again, I don't ever buy too much into it. I'm an optimist. I always think we have a chance to get the race in. Ultimately, we will have a chance. We'll see what happens. And I don't buy too much into the forecast until day of, because I've seen so many things change.
I, for one, am hoping for the rain because look at my you can't see it because of the stupid background. Anyway, here where I live, it's going to be 105 on Saturday and 103 on Sunday. I'm going to the beach.
Wow. 103.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I hear I can actually stream the race on this thing. So maybe I'll do that.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah. I won't print out the race like the schedule, but
we found the one place on Earth that Kerry doesn't surgically strike, the beach.
That's right. No. Unfortunately, the kids want to play when they get there, and it's
how
annoying.
Dare they?
I just want to lay there with a Mai Tai or something.
Right? Dip the toes in.
Yes.
Although it's always weird when you sit there and you kind of dip the toes in, because then like the waves come up and they rock you around, and you're like, I'm just trying to sit here and enjoy. Damn it!
Stupid ocean.
Seriously.
All right, I think we're done. I think that's a good show right there.
That's the one. That's it. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. I think we hit a lot of topics today.
We did, including your own personal career advancement.
Yeah, which I didn't. I'm still shocked this is such a big deal to so many people. So it's really cool to see.
It is. It is. Checkered flag flying on this show. This has been the Final Lap Weekly. Catch us next week right here when we will recap the racing from the Magic Mile and preview the most boring race of the season, Pocono. Returns. We have to incorporate aircraft carriers just to make it somewhat exciting. We have to have turns from 3 different racetracks, one of them defunct. I mean, we've got to throw solar farm. We've got to add all these things just to make it somewhat interesting, and all the stories in between. Toby, you and I will chat next week.
There are some people from Pocono right now going, I hate you.
Yeah. Can I get a credential? No, you're that
Absolutely
guy.
Not. We got people bringing these really long sticks out here and then telling us our racing sucks.
Right. And we'd like to thank our current list of Patreon paying people. Those that love our show so much, they give us money. Patreon.com/thevital-lap. I'm so blunt.
Yes. Okay, let's go through things here. We've got our sponsors of the show. We've got Devin, Louisville Max. We've got Joe Bike, David Letchworth. So that's really, really cool to see. We've got Lalo, Louisville Max. Oh, I already mentioned him. Whatever. We'll give him again because he's an ultimate final lapper. So Louisville.
Well, now
Max.
He's got to pay us again.
Yeah. Is that how we do it? We just keep mentioning it, and they have to.
Now you got to pay us again.
It's in the bylaws. You have to do it. So. We've got Robert Keene. We've got Jimmy B, Mr. Jimmy James, 1983. Thank you, Jimmy. We've got Quentin Whitaker, my buddy from Daytona. I'll be meeting up with him again when we get back down there in September. So cool to see him still here. Simon Green from across the pond. Troy Clark from down under. Peter Johansson, David Reed, James Maples II. We've got Evan Taylor, Mike Hamilton, Nick Reed, Scott Clark, Justin Kapasinskis. He's the man, and of course, Charles K. Miller, longest tenured listener in the history of this show, to my knowledge. If somebody's been listening longer, let me know. But I think it's Charles K. Miller for sure.
I haven't even listened that long.
No, I don't. I don't think I did either. I think he's been listening.
I mean, most of the time when you're talking, I just zone out. So
that's true.
Half right there.
The feeling's mutual, and poor Rowdy, we don't ever know what the hell he's talking about. So it's all good. It's apparent when you look at our fantasy rosters.
Yeah, we're not doing so well, are we?
I was doing so good, and it really fell off a cliff, man.
Yeah. Well, you've been working a side deal in the background, so.
Yeah, I've been a little busy.
That's right. Are you done with the list?
That's it. That's the list, man. We did it.
Patreon.com/thefinalapp. Join in on the giving fun.
And